Alright, quick update on ICP. So, a lot of the altcoins have been bouncing in the past week. The total crypto market cap is remaining relatively stagnant in the higher time frames. But you can see, a small handful, a multitude of altcoins within the top 125 have been bouncing. But ICP still seems to be making lower lows every other day, which is basically what we talked about when we made our last update for this 13 days ago. When we were making our update for ICP 13 days ago, we were at approximately between the ranges of $7.54 is when we made our first prediction. Our last video, however, we were at $7.34 talking about the next breakdown target of this massive M pattern. And it is starting to come into fruition. Within that video specifically, like I said, our price target was down here at $3.24. We've also got a macro price target down here at this Fibonacci level, the 2.618. If I move this right over, you can see this is actually a 77.5% drop that we are currently, or that we were currently predicting to pan out for ICP. And at this moment in time, we are down almost 30% since that last video. So that video has aged well. The last video that we made 13 days ago specifically was this move that we were talking about with the M pattern. And since then, we've come down almost 28%, which once again is very good. Now, I would very much like to highlight that, I know ICP, cryptocurrencies like ICP and XRP, it's always going to be, hard to, technically to analyze this because so many people were emotionally invested into this. Just like the XRP cult, everyone is so very emotionally attached to ICP. And, some people do not like when I tell you that ICP is going to zero, but the fact of the matter is, you zoom out and, once again, this chart is terrible. This is the worst performing cryptocurrency. It is literally down 99.19%, and in my opinion this is going all the way to zero. Bear in mind, I've had my YouTube channel since January and I've been saying the exact same thing since January. If you go back to my videos in January, we were saying that ICP is going to zero when it was at $38. I told you ICP was going to zero at $23. I told you in the last video, 13 days ago when ICP was at like $7.34 that it's going to zero, and once again today it's at $5, and I am once again here telling you that ICP is going to zero. So, this is a garbage shit coin. I hate to say it, but once again, we don't like to sugarcoat things on this channel. This cryptocurrency has just been in a downtrend forever, and I mean, once again, oops, if we get rid of that. As you can see, this downtrending level of resistance has been in place since the 11th of August 2021. And I have highlighted, yes, at some point in time, we are going to see a breakout of this trend line. How can I be so sure that we are going to see a breakout of this trend line? Because hypothetically, if we traverse to the downside and sideways for the next month and a half or two, to the next, let's see, so this is actually only down here to June. So if we extrapolate this, we would have to travel for the next 25 days to the downside within this channel. And if we do not break out of it, we would be in the minus price targets, which I'm not saying we're going to go into minus price targets. Obviously, we are not going to go below zero. It's not going to happen. But with that being said, we are obviously going to break out of this trend line at some point in time. And I don't want people to, think that, wow, we've finally broken out of this downtrend. We must be going to the moon. Well, the fact is, if you do not break out of this downtrend, then we will be at zero in the next 25 days. So I did just want to make you aware of that, but nonetheless, the breakdown targets are still in play. I did just want to let you know, do not get out of bed when we do break out of this, because once again, it is going to break out. We are not going to go to sub $0. And I'm not even necessarily saying that we're going to go right down to $0. I think it's much more likely we're going to do something like this, where we traverse sideways. We probably eventually break out. Maybe we're at 162, maybe we're at $5 or something. And I imagine we'll probably slowly just lollygag down to these much lower price targets. Now, Once again, I know if you're an ICP holder, this is probably hard to hear. The fact of the matter is, go over to my channel, look at my hit rate, type in ICP, go back to the earliest videos that I was making when this was $38. I was telling you it's going to zero then, and I'm once again telling you this is going to zero now. ICP against Bitcoin, this is once again one of the worst performing alts against Bitcoin. At one period in time, ICP was worth 5.5% of a Bitcoin, and now it's currently worth 0.000272 of a Bitcoin. So once again, we're running out of price targets to the downside on the BTC pairs as well. You know, after we come down to this 1.618, which we will do, there's really nothing else that we can do apart from draw micro fibs. And from these micro fibs, your next level down would be all the way down here. This would be about 40% drop, down to the next level, about 75% drop. And then you would come to the areas where it would literally be at zero, which once again, I do think we are going to start doing very, very soon. We've started to break out on the BTC pair because once again, this is another one of those things where if we did just traverse to the downside until approximately about the 8th of August, we would once again, this would be down at zero. So we are going to start breaking out of some of these trend lines. I did just want to make an update to let you know, do not get out of bed when we do break out of these trend lines. If you are bullish on this for some reason and you know you do want to accumulate, then for the love of God, at least wait until we have a flip of the EMA ribbons. Now you can see, I mean, since all the EMA ribbons loaded in, which was here on the 2nd of July, you know, we tried to flip the EMA ribbons. We back tested and emmed out and completely capitulated to the downside. Since then, you know, we flip them, break down, flip them, break down, flip them, break down. So we've got a very, very clear-cut pattern of what goes on. Flip them, break down, came into them, break down. So once again, I wouldn't be surprised if we did have a little bounce before we did head down to the downside. I would not be counting on any bounces, like I said. The trend is your friend on this one. And once again, if you do want to DCA this, which I highly don't recommend because people have been DCAing this since $600, and they will probably be DCAing it when it comes down to 10 cents and then zero. At least, for the love of God, at least wait for a trend reversal above the EMA ribbons. If you are going to do that, then at least you could capitalize on some short-term gains in the dead cat bounce before we do head back down. Unless we flip above the EMA ribbons, then wait on the sidelines. You know, once again, not financial advice, do what you want. I said the same thing last video at $7 something. I said the same thing when we were up here at 23. And once again, if you go back to my channel's updates back here at $38 around the 11th of January, you will see that I have kept the energy the entire way through. So with that being said, the next level to the downside for ICP, which I see coming into fruition, obviously the breakdown target, this is a micro price area to keep your eyes on, $3.24. After then, we're going to $1.73. I wouldn't be surprised if we came down to $1 and had a bounce, as that is a psychological level. And then at that period in time, we don't have any more Fibonacci's. We would have to draw micro fibs and say, you know, even here, the micro fibs there, we're running out of areas before we reach zero, which should be telling. You know, once again, even in the most micro fib, we do not have any more micro fibs that we can draw. They are all down here at zero, which should tell you something about the market structure of ICP. The squeeze mom, our momentum indicator, is still massively pushing to the downside. The weekly squeeze mom massively pushing to the downside. Volume exponentially increasing in favor of the bears. And if we do switch over to the inverse chart, because I know, you know, a lot of people, once again, are emotionally invested to this. So sometimes you look at the chart and you don't want to see it how it is. But let's inverse the chart. Let's pretend this is a different crypto. This was your all-time high, broke down, found support on the EMA ribbons. Ever since then, flip the all-time high, finding support on the EMAs. You are in price discovery to the upside. Bear in mind, this is the inverse chart. So, you know, for example, once again, if you were emotionally invested into ICP, then looking at the inverse chart is a great way to separate your emotions from the chart. You know, once again, I know it's hard to do. I've been trading crypto since 2018, and when I was fresh to crypto trading, the hardest part of trading was just turning on your robot brain, looking at the charts for what they are, recognizing the trends from a mathematical perspective, and not saying, you know, I believe in ICP the long term, this is my emotion, this is my opinion, so I'm going to DCA even though it's clear the trend has not changed. That is an emotional investment. Like myself, you know, I literally turn on my robot mode, I look at the charts, I say it how it is, I don't like to sugarcoat anything. If it looks like garbage, I will tell you how it is, and this chart looks like absolute garbage. And once again, you know, go back to my videos from January, go back to my videos from 13 days ago. I'm telling you, this is going to zero. That's all I've got for you today. Best of luck if you are invested in ICP. Bear in mind, you know, I really do just want what's best for you. If I was looking to get views and likes and followers, then I would have just titled this video, is ICP going to $100 at the end of the bear market? It would have got a lot more views, it would have got a better response, but the fact of the matter is, this is not what my channel is here to do. I'm here to tell you how it is. I'm here to tell you what I see in the charts, and this chart looks like absolute dog shit. That's all I've got for you today. As always, I do want the best for you. Best of luck. Cowboy out. Peace.